So, YouTube viewers might be wondering why I haven't published any videos recently. Well, the week before last, I had fallen behind with the show in general. And then this past week, I was feeling so self conscious about what I found to be the somewhat questionable quality of episode 329 that I decided not to make a video version. I don't think it was necessarily terrible, and I still stand behind the points I made in the episode, but it was very long winded. But given the specific subject of the episode, it was a response to a video by YouTuber Computing Forever entitled Rediscovering My Faith. I knew I'd probably be bound to receive complaints from the less patient among the YouTube crowd. In general, people seem to like response videos to be kind of snappy and to the point. I know my own viewers probably would have been fairly forgiving, but seems knowing how popular Computing Forever is, I probably would have been inundated with complaints about the meandering nature of my response from both his fans and detractors who are strangers to my channel. So that's why there was no YouTube video last week. If you're a YouTube viewer who doesn't mind my more long-winded episodes, you can still find the audio-only version of episode 329 in its entirety in the Weekendale podcast feed. Just go to iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, your podcast aggregator of choice, and you should be able to find the show. And I'll just try and give a very, very brief recap of what my issue was with Computing Forever and his video, Rediscovering My Faith. So first of all, if a person wants to re-embrace Christianity or any other religion, and it gives them a sense of satisfaction or comfort or fulfillment, that's fine. You know, if I'm at a party and someone tells me they're a born-again Christian, they just rediscovered their faith, and wow, it's like a whole new lease on life for them. I'm not going to start tearing into them and, trying to rip all that away from them. I mean, in all honesty, just between you and me, it is one of my pet peeves in a way when I hear someone returns to religion just because, as someone who values logic, reason, empirical evidence, facts, I always wonder, I'm like, did they have to engage in some kind of cognitive gymnastics? How did they rationalize it? Or were they just so hungry for some sense of meaning in their life that they were willing to suspend their disbelief and embrace this man-made dogma once again or whatever? So in my own head, if someone tells me they're a born-again Christian or whatever, or that they used to be an atheist, now they're I am going to be, there are going to be some questions floating around my head, But I'm not going to ruin the person's night or try to tear away this newfound comfort from them, you know what I mean? But where I think it's all right to take the gloves off, as I've said before, is in the public forum of ideas. I think it's totally different when you have an atheist debating a theist at a public event. That's completely different than if you find out someone's religious at a dinner party or a get-together or something like that. You know what I mean? At a public event or in a public forum, I think you have a duty to the truth and a duty to all those who are listening or watching to be as honest and factual as possible and to try to point out the errors and contradictions and the weaknesses in your opponent's arguments. So if it gives Computing Forever the warm fuzzies to be a Christian again in his private life or whatever, that's fine. But when he gets on YouTube and starts talking as if we're living in this decadent Western dystopia brought about by the left, and the cure or panacea for that is Christianity, then I'm gonna have something to say. I'm gonna take some issue with that, you know? So if you want to hear my long drawn out response to that, and yeah, I do meander and take these little side excursions and digressions and go into, my own life and childhood, my own religious upbringing and stuff. Like I said, you can find that in the audio only podcast feed.